Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're going to discuss is we're going to talk about Nick Saban. He actually went on Capitol Hill. He went to Washington, D.C. and spoke about the way of college football and the way of the N.I.L, the transfer portal, and the way how everything's kind of getting out of control. He spoke about the way how it's just not the way it used to be, how he thinks there need to be changes. The government is now apparently getting involved with the way how things need to be done. Senator Ted Cruz, he was up there, but right there beside Nick Saban. He was kind of asking questions at the round table. There was a lot going on. There's two different versions of this if you want to go check it out for yourself. The very long version, which is like an hour and a half long, where it has everybody's kind of questions, responses, everything like that. I'll put that down in the description below. And there's also a second video. There's about 4 minutes long, which is basically just Nick Saban talking. If you want to hear about just Nick Saban and kind of his input and his viewpoint on the whole thing, I'll put that down in the description below as well. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to kind of react to what Nick Saban said, some of the things he kind of went over, and just my opinion on, like I said, how NIL is working, how the transfer portal is working, and some of the changes they need to make. But we're going to get straight into this. So if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you're going to drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I do want to let you guys know, I've already made a video kind of talking about the transfer portal and the whole NIL thing in the past. I'll put that video up there so you guys can go check that out if you want to. But as you can see on screen, one of the things that he did go on to talk about, it says here, and I quote, "If we had some sort of revenue sharing proposition that did not make student athletes employees, I think that may be the long-term solution," quote. Saban then went on to say, quote, "You could create a better quality of life for student athletes. You could still emphasize development. You can still create brand and athletic development with a system like that, and it would be equal in all institutions. You couldn't raise more money at one school to create a competitive advantage at another," quote. He then goes on to say this here, and I quote, "We have collectives that in some places are raising huge amounts of money." Saban then went on to say, and I quote, "You have a pay-for-play system and a free agency system that has no guidelines. There's no competitive balance. I think there's going to be a lot of places that will say that, and will create a K system where the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer, and eventually fans will look at it and say, quote, I don't really want to watch this game." Now, when you hear Nick Saban say that, you have to agree with what he's saying. College football is not supposed to be like free agency, signing big time contracts. There used to be a time where there was these things called boosters. That was what college football had, where guys and girls, women and men of all ages could go out and they could kind of tell these college kids, hey, you come to my university, I'll give you a big lump of money. I'll give you a nice house. I'll take care of your family. We'll kind of slide it under the rug. Nobody will ever know, and you'll be taken care of. That was illegal back then. Nowadays, it's like just wide out in the open. Here's $1.5 million. Come to Alabama. $1.5 million. Come to Ohio State. Come to Georgia. Whatever it may be. Nick Saban hits on one of the more important points, is that the poor get poorer and the richer get richer, which I like that he says this, because for him, he was a coach at Alabama, a very rich school. Now, if he was like a really poor school, I'd be like, yes, 100% agree with you. But with him being a rich school, you don't really expect somebody like him to say that. But with him saying that, it just shows the humbleness behind him. The fact that him coming from a rich school where they were always able to get players, and he understands these schools that are small, the group of 5 schools, the Division 2 schools, Division 3 schools, these schools that are never going to be getting a 5-star recruit, they might be lucky to get a 4-star recruit. They are struggling to make money. They don't go to big time group. They don't go to near 6 bowls. They don't even go to some of like the Outback, the Citrus Bowls, some of these kind of underappreciated bowls. They barely sometimes even get to bowls. They're struggling to win games because they don't have good recruits. They don't have good players. Moving on to the next thing, like I said, with NIL and free agency, the whole way of college football, the way it's going, he basically hit the nail on the head. I think within the next 5 years, there's going to be probably free agent or agents, literal agents out there where you got to call the agent of the college football player and say, hey, is he coming to practice? Oh, no, sorry, man. He's got some stuff busy today. Or, hey, is Jaquan, whatever, going to be coming back to us next season? Oh, you know, we're working over the contract. We're trying to figure out, do you want to give us $2 million or $2.5 million? This school over here is willing to give us $3 million, but we like you. We want to come back for $2.5 million if you're accepting that. And I'm sorry, if the college football scene goes that way, goes that route, it's just going to be horrible. Now, people can say, well, NFL, MLB, NBA, the pro leagues, they're like that. Yeah, the pro leagues, they're pros. That's a business. College football is supposed to be college football. College kids, go to college. There used to be a time where you used to be lucky to get to college. Nowadays, these kids are just taking it as they don't even give a shit to be in college. It's just like, hey, give me my money. And before anybody says anything about like, well, they need the money, some of these kids, they don't come from very good backgrounds. The money is very appreciated. And I realize they probably do. They appreciate the money. Hell, some of these kids that are getting like $2 million to go to the school, some people don't even see $2 million ever in their life. And I realize that. It's just one of these things where you don't go to college just to say, give me my money. You go to these college football teams to go and develop and be a better person, be a better man, grow as a player, and hopefully get to the NFL. And that was Nick Saban's first goal all the time. He said he wanted to always get to the NFL if it was possible. He was going to develop you, teach you, and then if hopefully by the junior year of your time there, if you get there and you are not developing right, he can then have a second path for you to say, okay, what kind of degree are you going for? Are you going for business? Are you going for maybe science? What is your degree? Can we take you in that route? Can we just try to transfer you over there? And can we go hard at that to give you a really good job whenever you leave Alabama? And then one of the other things that Nick Saban talked about was every single Sunday, he said this in his interview on Capitol Hill, every single Sunday his wife and him would have all the players and the players' moms come over to their house for dinner, barbecue, whatever. Nick Saban's wife would have all the mothers come in of all the players, recruits, whatever, come in, they would sit down, they'd be able to hang out with her, and she basically kind of go around, be able to tell every single mother, my husband's going to take care of your boys, he's going to make sure they're the best ball players we've ever seen, he's going to teach them what they need to do, he's going to raise them up, he's going to be like a second father figure to them. And it hurts to say, but for some of them maybe didn't grow up with a father, he's going to hopefully be able to be like an actual father figure and a role model for them. But with the way NIL is going, like I said, nowadays it seems like these kids that are going over to the house, all the mothers and even like say girlfriends, whoever of these recruits and the kids that are going to Alabama, all they care about is how much money are you giving him. That's all they care about. They don't care about developing the person. They don't care about developing him as a man. Hopefully he gets another job. They want to know how much money are you giving him and could he possibly get to the NFL. One of the other things he did say was whenever he was in the NFL, whenever he became the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, one of the reasons he did leave, and I realized he didn't stay with the Miami Dolphins for a long time, one of the reasons he came back to college was because he just didn't enjoy the way NFL works. As we see with NIL, he doesn't enjoy the way the NFL works, a free agency, kind of having to constantly go after your guys. Sometimes you're on the one-year contract, he's got to go after and bring it back. He liked college because it was you recruit, you got your guy, and they're with you. You're going to go through the rough, the shit, everything with them. You're going to develop them. You're going to make them like your son for the next 3 to 4 years. And with the way college football is going nowadays, he knew he had to get out. That's kind of the reason why he retired, because he sees the way college football is working. It's more of an NFL system now. And I don't know about you, but for him, I think he made the right decision of getting out now. Now, when it comes to making changes, is there anything they can do? Here's what I would say. When it comes to the transfer portal, the transfer portal is one that I think they can make a minor tweak to it. The way the transfer portal is working right now is if you transfer, and especially back in the day, it was if you transferred, you had to sit a year and then you could play again. Nowadays, you can just transfer. I think if they made it to where you can only do like a one-time transfer and you can still play the year after, it's just make it one-time transfer. That way, guys, when they commit to a university, they are not just like staying there for the freshman year, then transferring sophomore year, transferring again. They at least staying in their freshman and sophomore year. Then if they want to transfer, they know wherever they transfer to, this is going to be my home till I'm ready to go either to the NFL or graduate. I don't know about y'all, but that I think would really fix the transfer portal. And when it comes to NIL, I really don't know what they can do. I think number one, agents ban the fuck out of that. No player should have an agent, in my opinion. And when it comes to players getting money, I don't know if they need to like set like a salary cap or something. I feel like it would be hard to do that, especially with the fact of, like I said from the beginning, some schools, not gonna lie, you're kind of poor. And then other schools like the Georgia, the Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, etc., Penn State, these schools are very rich. So unless you're going to go to these schools and you're going to say, hey, can you share some of your wealth with some of these poor schools, which they're obviously not going to do, that is not going to happen. I think with the way everything's moving right now, it's just going to make it a lot tougher on the poor schools. And it's just going to be a world where we're going to live in of, if you're a poor school, winning college football games is going to be so much tougher nowadays. You're going to have to coach your ass off the most extreme. You're going to have to recruit your ass off to the extreme because you obviously don't have that $500,000 to $1 million check you can go to every single recruit in hand. It's going to make things tougher now. But do I see changes coming in the future? I do. It's just the big question is it going to be good changes or bad changes? We'll see. But other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy it, as always, make sure you can drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciative to do so. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have a different opinion on the whole thing, if you think Nick Saban is kind of right about everything he said, if you think he's not right, if you agree or disagree with anything he said or anything I said, and you want to go and leave your complete opinion down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. And like I said, you can go check out any of those videos, both those videos of either the full hour and a half down there, or you can check out just the Nick Saban. It's like 4.5 to 4 minutes long. If you want to go check either one of those out, and then once you do that, leave your opinion down in the comments. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Don't Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.